Before you get started with the spell checker in Photoshop Elements, here are some things that you need to know for guaranteed success. Spell checker is only available in advanced mode of Photoshop Elements. So I'm beginning in advanced mode with a scrapbook page open that has several type layers. If you need help getting a document to the point where it can be spell checked, you'll find instructions for doing that in the manual. To run the spell checker, in the menu bar, choose Edit, Check Spelling. In the dialog box, Not in Dictionary displays the word not recognized by the dictionary on your computer. The word will also be highlighted on your document. Just to be clear, Photoshop Elements does not contain a dictionary. It uses the one that your computer's operating system uses. Change to suggests the most appropriate replacement for the word that's not recognized. And suggestion lists alternative replacement suggestions for the word not recognized. Click Change to replace the current instance of the word with the selected suggestion. Click Change All to replace all occurrences of the word. Click Ignore to skip this instance of the word, and click Ignore All to skip all occurrences of the word. Click Add to add the word to your computer's dictionary for future recognition, and click Done to exit spell checker once you've completed your review. And then two more things about this dialog box. First, by default, Check All Layers is checked. If you only want spell checker to check the currently active layer in the Layers panel, then you would want to uncheck this option. And finally, this dialog box will list the language of the dictionary it's using. If you notice that the language is incorrect, like for example, if mine said English UK, then that would indicate to me that it's using the wrong dictionary. So I might as well not even continue. Press the Escape key if you want to escape out of the spell checker without making any changes. Then, with a type layer active in the Layers panel, get the Horizontal Type tool, and in the Tool Options, make sure that your language is enabled in the Tool Options. You would need to do that for each of the type layers in the Layers panel, since you can use different languages on different layers. So I'm going to go back to the spell checker, and I can see that I spelled opportunity incorrect, and that is the correct spelling. So I'll click Change. I also misspelled insisted, so I'll click Change there too. If you don't understand how the spell checker works, you may be confused by some of the pop-ups. For example, if you have type layers that are hidden within the Layers panel, you are going to see a box warning you that hidden type layers are not going to be spell checked. This dialog box will most commonly appear if you're using a template and you've disabled some of the type layers to create your own. If you don't need those layers spell checked, then you can click Skip. I do want mine spell checked, however, so again, I'll click Cancel, and that will escape me out of the spell checker. Now I can correct those errors. I'll go back into my Layers panel and turn on the layer that was hidden, and now I'll run spell checker again. Edit, check spelling. Because I canceled out, my changes were not made. So I'll have to change them again. I'll click Change for Opportunity, Change for Insisted, and now it's looking at that other type layer, which is part of my title. I didn't notice that there was an extra R in there. That's very common for scrapbookers to miss things like this. So I'll click Change here also. And then another common dialog box that you will see is a box telling you that fonts are missing in a text layer. To navigate this dialog box, I recommend you just click Replace, knowing that you can always go back in later and change the font that Adobe has substituted. Once everything has been taken care of, Photoshop Elements will tell you that the spell check is complete, and then you'll need to click OK. So now that Spell Checker has done its magic, I see I have a little bit of editing to do. I'm going to move this word over a little bit here with the Move tool. And now my text box looks a little bit off. So I'm going to adjust that as well. So here are a few more things to help you understand how Spell Checker works. Like I said before, Spell Checker will check the spelling of all editable and visible type layers. If a type layer is simplified or hidden, it's not going to be spell checked. Also, Spell Checker will not find grammar, punctuation, or contextual mistakes. For example, here you can see that I have the date, but I forgot to put a comma after the day. So I'll have to edit that. Also, in my paragraph, I have an extra E on the end of B. Because BEE is also a word, Spell Checker didn't catch it. So you still will have to watch for those kind of mistakes. I would suspect that someday Photoshop Elements will find those mistakes for you. Also, it may help to know that spell checker changes count as one history state. So if you finish your spell checking and then you undo the changes, all the changes that spell checker made will be undone. If you find that you're having trouble with the spell checker, I've included some troubleshooting tips in the manual. So that's how to use the spell checker feature in Photoshop Elements. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. This has been Jen White with Digital Scrapper. We help you get your stories told.